Have you ever thought about how does our body work? Our bodies are meant to heal ourselves. When we fall down, we scrape our knee, we get a cut, right? It starts bleeding. After a while, it just eventually heals itself. What's up, guys? How's it going? My name is Daesh Hanks, coming to you from Amadon, North Dakota with another daily dose with Daisha. And in today's video, I want to talk about how can our thoughts actually make us sick. So as you guys start jumping on, make sure you drop a hashtag live if you are jumping on the live today with the YouTube channel. If you're jumping on Facebook, make sure to press that like button and the share button if you found value out of this video today. And if you are one of my podcast listeners, I just want to say I appreciate you so much for listening, your support, and all the donations that you guys do send. Again, guys, make sure you say hi as you guys jump on. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into All right, and we are back. Who do we got jumping on so far? Michael, what is going on? Live from Pennsylvania. Good to see you on here as well. Thank you so much, Michael. Again, guys, as you guys start jumping on, that way I can give you a proper shout out, whether it's on the live, whether it's on the replay. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from in the comments section below. So on this video, I want to talk about three different things, right? The first thing is, how does our body work when it comes to healing itself? Right. The second thing is I want to talk about how does our body work when it comes to stress. And the third and final thing is I want to talk about a daily practice that I created to relieve stress. So as you guys start jumping on, again, drop something in the comments below. I love being able to interact with you guys. So let's start off with the first one here. How does our body work when it comes to healing? So when our body is healing itself, right, you'll really see that any type of person, right, any type of animal, our bodies are meant to be able to heal themselves, right? They're meant to be able to heal themselves. As I said at the beginning of this video, if you fall down, you scrape your knee, right, you leave it alone for a few days, eventually it's just going to heal itself, right? As long as you're not thinking negatively about it, it'll heal itself. When a cat comes up and they scratch you on the arm, right, that scratch is gone within just a few days. Our body is meant to, right? And I want to ask you something real quick, right? Wouldn't you agree that everything, right, needs energy to operate? Our bodies need fuel, right? They need water, right? They need food, they need sleep to be able to operate. When it comes to cars, right, they need gas, they need oil to be able to operate. The computer that I am broadcasting this video on right now, it needs some type of energy, right? It needs the power from the surge that is coming through to the computer to be able to give it life, right? Everything needs energy to operate. So the same thing goes when it comes to our body working to be able to heal itself, right? It needs enough energy to be able to do that. Without that energy, it's not going to be able to heal itself, right? So if our bodies are meant to heal themselves, then why is it that we have so many diseases out in the world, right? We have obesity like crazy within the US. I used to be super obese. I weighed about 240 pounds at one point, right? So why is it that we have so many of those if our bodies are meant to heal themselves, right? Wouldn't our bodies just be able to not have all the inside organs messing up, our thoughts and our minds having depression and anxiety and all of these mental illnesses, right? Shouldn't our bodies just be able to fix themselves? Well, here's the thing, right? It needs enough energy to be able to do so. And I truly believe at this point that we as a society, right, have kind of created it where we have too much focus, right? Too much energy, right? Tony Robbins says it all the time, where focus goes, energy flows, right? So we have too much focus on all of the stresses, on all of the negative things, all of the negative attributes that are going on, that our body, right, no longer has enough energy to be able to heal itself because it's trying to manage all the stress that we are putting onto it, right? So let's talk about that then, right? How does our body work when it comes to stress? So I was just watching Rewired by Joe Dispenza. If you guys haven't watched that on Gaia, go and check it out. It's Gaia, right? Get a subscription for that. You can try out the 7-day trial, but just watch Rewired by Joe Dispenza because he explains this really well, right? When our body is under stress, what's happening is that our heart, right, it starts beating faster. And when our heart is beating faster, it's releasing more blood cells throughout our body to be able to manage the stress that is going on, right? It goes into a fight or flight mode. And when you're under stress, right, and when you're in that fight or flight mode, the only thing that your body is going to do is either fight, right? It's either going to run, flight, right? Or it's either going to hide, right? And the last thing that it's really focused on is how much time do I actually have to be able to get to the destination or accomplish what I need to be able to stay safe, right? And if your body is running on overtime, because that's basically what it's doing. When you're in a relaxed state and you're calm and you're just hanging out, right? You're talking about different topics, or maybe you're helping out your team or you're working or whatever, right? You're usually in a pretty calm state as long as it's not a stressful environment, right? But when your body is under stress, it has to release double the amount of chemicals, right? Double the amount of adrenaline, right? So that it can handle the stress. And the reason for that is back to like the olden times, right? You'll notice with every animal, whether it's a zebra, whether it's a gazelle, right? Whether it's a deer, whatever it is, right? If they're in danger, if a zebra is running from a lion, right, that is being chased, what's happening? Their body goes into fight or flight mode. It releases those chemicals of adrenaline and all of these other things to help it with being able to manage that stressful situation. But as soon as it's done, as soon as that stressful situation is over, that zebra is not thinking about, man, that was a really scary lion. That was really scary the way that his teeth were like looking at me and he was just piercing me with his eyes, right? And it was just a scary moment. I can't believe that I was in that situation. They're not continuing to stress about it. They let it go and they go back to grazing. They go back to doing whatever it is that they need to, and they allow their body to go back into that balanced, calm state. So that way it can save its energy, right? And utilize it again when it needs to, right? If our body is supposed to be able to run on a natural basis to be able to heal itself and keep itself at a healed level, right? As long as we are not under stress and it has enough energy to do so. If we release all that energy over to stress, our body is now more susceptible, right, to different viruses, different germs, different diseases, right? And it's naturally going to happen. If our body doesn't have enough energy to keep up with keeping our body at a natural, balanced, healthy state, then of course it's going to start having those bad reactions just like anything else would, right? So we have to now learn, how can we relieve that stress? How can we let go of consistently thinking about those stressors on a daily basis so that we can be just like a zebra out in the field and stress about it for a moment when we need to make sure that we are safe, and then go ahead and relieve ourselves of that stress and continue on with our day so that our bodies can not only heal themselves, right? So that our thoughts are not impacting us to become sick, but so that we can actually manage everything else that's going on in the world and actually create the life that we truly desire. So, how do we do this? I want to talk about a daily practice to relieve stress. So, our bodies, right, like I said, are meant to heal themselves. So, let's go ahead and go through just one thing really quick because I want to talk about us as a society. The first step in this process is to give our minds proof that there's no danger and that things are okay. And the reason why I say we need to give our minds proof, right, is I feel that we have kind of conditioned our minds to think that we need physical proof before it will accept change. Right? So if we're wanting to change something about ourselves, if we're wanting to no longer stay in a state of stress and frustration, right? Instead of us snapping at every little thing and allowing our anger to overwhelm and consume us and we react in a negative way. If we're wanting to change, first we're going to need to start, unless you're going to get into like meditation, right, and really start focusing on within your mind, we need to have some type of physical proof to give our mind proof, right, that everything that is going on around us is okay, right? Everything that is going on around us is okay. So how do we do that? How do we give our minds proof that there is no danger and that things are okay? What I like to do, right, is think about how my body works again, right? If my body, my heart starts pumping really fast, right, and starts releasing a bunch of blood cells, right, so that I can have that adrenaline start rushing through my body so I can fight if I need to, I can run if I need to, and I can hide and be observant around my surroundings and be super focused at all times, right, then that means that I need to slow down my heart rate. And you do that by slowing down your breathing, right? So the first thing, right? The first step in this process of being able to relieve that stress so your thoughts no longer make you sick. Now, for those of you that are just jumping on, let's go ahead and just do a quick overview. How do our thoughts make us sick, right? Our thoughts make us sick because when we are consistently thinking about something that is stressful, right, we release that within our body to go into a fight or flight mode. And when we are inside of a fight or flight mode, right, all of our energy is being taken to make sure that we can fight, run, or we can hide, right? So that means that our body is working in overtime. And if your body is working in overtime, it no longer has the energy to be able to heal itself and defend against those different viruses and other things. Angeline says, hey there, watching the replay. Actually, Angeline, you're on the live with me. So what's up? Hope you're doing awesome. Mama says, hey, baby girl, live from Hebron, Idaho. Awesome, awesome. Appreciate you jumping on. So let's go into that, right? So the first step is really just slowing down our breathing and our heart rate. When we slow down our breathing, it slows down our heart rate. And if we can slow down our heart rate, it's going to signal it up to the brain saying, hey, heart rate is slowing down, so things are okay. And your mind's going to be like, okay, yeah, everything is good. And it's going to signal it back to that heart and it go around inside of this loop so that you are okay within yourself. So that's the first step, right? Let's take our hand. We're going to set it on our heart. And you want to do a little bit of pressure, just enough pressure where you can feel your heartbeat. Now, if you're in a dangerous situation, right, and your fight or flight mode is turned on, then of course your heart is going to be beating a little bit faster. So it's going to be a little bit easier to feel it. So if you can't feel it right now, that's fine, right? When you're in that situation, you will. So you'll feel your heart rate. You're going to breathe in, deep breath, hold it for about 1-2 seconds, and slowly let it go. Now, when you're breathing in, again, it has to be slow. And the reason why it's slow is when you're upset, when you're angry, think about how your breath is, right? When you're frustrated, you're probably thinking really fast and your breath is really fast and it's just really upsetting. It's just, right? Your breath is no longer going in a very calm manner, right? So when you slow down the breathing, it slows down your heart, right? So that's the first step. Angeline says hashtag live from New York. Mama says at work. Awesome, awesome. Glad you're able to catch this while you're at work. Second step right here is to actually change our habitual state. Now, what I mean by our habitual state is a lot of the times, right, if someone is angry, if there's someone that snaps at something, right, something pisses them off, their spouse says something and it just ticks them off and they snap, right? Most of the time, if people are an angry person, right, and they snap and then they do step one of slowing down their breathing and their heart, right, and they're in that good state, what happens is, again, their thoughts start making them sick, right? They start thinking about the situation. They start thinking about the situation, right? Which what happens after they do that? Then they start releasing those chemicals within their body. It starts making them stressed out again. They start going into fight or flight mode again. And then automatically the anger starts rushing back in again, right? So we have to cut off that habitual pattern, right, that we put ourselves in. We're okay, right? We're super ticked off and then we're okay and then we're super ticked off again because we're thinking about it. So what we have to start to do is start changing what we start thinking about. So here's two things, right, that I would recommend so you can start kind of changing that. The first thing is to start listening to some type of music with positive lyrics, right? And that's the really important thing. You have to listen to music with positive lyrics if you're going to take this step. Now, the reason why I say to listen to music is very influential to all of us, right? You'll see that even some people that get super angry throughout the day, if you throw on a good tune that they can dance to, that they really feel the vibe to, all of a sudden they feel like dancing, right? They could be the most angry person in the world, but that music will influence them to feel a certain way, right? It doesn't make us feel a certain way. We have that control, but it influences us very highly to feel a certain way. So when you listen to music with positive lyrics, and again, I'm going to emphasize that so much, positive lyrics, because if you listen to music that's negative, right? If you're angry and frustrated and you've calmed your state down a little bit, and then all of a sudden you start listening to super hard rock music that says F the police and F you and F the girlfriend and da 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 and all this stuff, it's just going to get you riled back up again. So you have to be very selective with the music. So listen to some type of music from like Satsang. They have very, very positive lyrics and music. Beautiful Chorus is a definitely second one that I would recommend on that. And just a bunch of other ones. Just look up positive lyrics when it comes to music and listen to something that gets you into that positive state. That, or if you don't want to listen to positive lyrics, right? Think of 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for and why, right? Again, think of 3 to 5 things that you are grateful for and why. Now, the reason why I say you need to think of the why is because that's the super important part, right? We can say a bunch of things, right? But unless we have a certain intention behind it, unless we have a certain feeling, attachment to it, right? More than likely, we're not actually going to stick to it, right? We're not actually going to fully emerge inside of it. So, when you say, "Oh, I'm grateful for my wife," right? I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends, my partner Angeline for helping me out. I'm grateful for my business. Yeah, I'm super grateful for all of it, right? It doesn't really sit. It doesn't really hit within you, right? You need to be able to hit that emotional state. So when you think about it, when you're saying, "Oh, I'm grateful for my wife." Okay, well, why? Why are you grateful for your wife? What things does she do? What feelings does she make you feel that makes you the reason why you're grateful for her? Well, she makes sure that I'm stable within my mind, right? She's the yin to my yang. Any single time that I'm feeling super frustrated or angry, she can talk me through it. Or sometimes we bicker for a second, but either way, we always come back down to the same level and make sure that things are okay before we walk away from a conversation. I'm just so grateful that I have that within my life. And you can see the change within my face, right? Me just talking about that really it starts making me smile for one, right? And that releases those automatic chemicals to make you feel better, right? And the third and final thing, right? Third and final step, which is a little bit different than what I usually say, is to do something where you're learning something new. Right now, here's the reason why I say this. There's actually 2 reasons. It's kind of funny. First off, it puts discipline within your mind, right? What's going to happen is if you do this every single time that you get angry or frustrated about something, it's going to signal to your brain every single time that you get angry about something, I'm going to make you sit down, discipline you to focus and learn something every single time. So you want to get angry? Fine. We're just going to learn something, right? It's going to create a negative neural association within your mind to getting angry. So it's going to make you not want to be angry as much. The second thing that it does is when you're learning something, it actually fires and wires different neurons within your brain to where like you didn't have those things before, right? Different connections within your brain. So when you're angry and frustrated, the only thing that you're thinking about is the stressful things, the negative things, right? But when you're learning something, you're in this creative state where your mind is open, your heart and your body are at ease, and you can be in synchronization within your mind and body, right? There's no more feeling disconnected. There's no more feeling confused or irritated or frustrated or disappointed with anything, right? When you are in that creative state, your mind is turning and wiring itself in a different way that releases those actual healing properties within your body, right? I'm going to tell you guys one more thing before we jump off here, just because I think it's super interesting. Joe Dispenza says this on one of his videos inside of the series Rewired. He says that when they actually started recognizing and really tracking the brain waves and how the mind works, right? When someone is under stress and when they are learning, right? When they are under stress, it starts disconnecting, right? Disconnecting those connections, those neurons within your brain that release those healing chemicals without your body, right? Throughout your body, right? When you're in that state of learning, right? When you're in that state of creativity, what it's doing, and they've tracked this within people's minds, I think it's insane. It doubles, sometimes even triples, quadruples, right? 5 times. It releases those chemicals multiple times more throughout your body of being able to heal, feel connected, feel happy, and feel at peace within yourself. Right? So just think about that. The next time that you're thinking, do I really want to start learning about personal development? Do I really want to start learning about da 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 or whatever else? Right? Yes, you do. Because when you're learning about something, you're actually healing yourself. Crazy, insanely amazing things. Again, guys, go watch the series Rewired by Joe Dispenza on Gaia. That's Gaia. Maybe I'll drop a link for it in the description above or below, depending on if you're watching on YouTube or on my Facebook channel. All right, guys, that is basically it for today's video, right? Let's do a quick recap for just the people that jumped on. How can our thoughts make us sick, right? Our thoughts make us sick because we as humans have the ability to let out those stress hormones just by a single thought. So when we are consistently thinking about all the things that we are upset about, we are stressed about all those things, right? It releases those chemicals within our body to go into the fight or flight mode. And when we are in a fight or flight mode, the only things that we want to do is fight, run, or hide, right? And that takes a lot of energy, right? Our heart starts going faster. It releases those blood cells and the adrenaline within our body, right? So that we have to work on double time to make sure that we are safe within a stressful environment, right? So our thoughts alone can make us sick, because if our body does not have enough energy to be able to withstand, right, all of the viruses that are being thrown at us, having those healing properties naturally flowing through, right, because it's focused more on stress, then we can then say that yes, our thoughts can make us sick. So how do we do this? We start relieving our stress. How do we relieve our stress? We give our mind's proof that there is no danger and that everything is okay, right? We slow down our breathing, slow down our heart to stop those blood cells from being pumped out and that adrenaline from being pumped out, right? Once we have that, we must cut off the habitual state that we put ourselves in. So instead of calming ourselves down and then starting to think about all of the negative things, right, or thinking about that situation that upset us in the first place, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to listen to music with positive lyrics, again, positive lyrics. I'm going to point at that again and again. Positive lyrics. It cannot be any negative type of lyrics, and right, think of 3 to 5 things you're grateful for and why, right? That's a really important part, and why. And the third and final thing is to do something where you learn, because it disciplines your mind to say every single time you get angry, I'm going to make you sit down and learn something. And it allows you to have that creative energy flowing within you, the creative chemicals flowing through, which technically activate those energy of healing properties within yourself. So by you learning, you're actually healing yourself. So again, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this live. It's a little bit longer than what my lives usually are, but there was just so much information inside of this. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So there will definitely be more of these to come. Catch me out on the next episode of Daily Dose with Daisha. You can check out the podcast version. I'm going to drop it above, drop it below, wherever you're at. Make sure to click on that so you can add me on my podcast channel. You can add me on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark, and make sure to like my Facebook page as well. I will catch you guys in the next video, and thank you again, and bye for now.